Good morning, class. Today we're going to be starting a 2-day project. It's not going to take us too long. And we're going to be looking at sunflowers and an artist named Van Gogh. Now this is Mr. Vincent van Gogh, and we've heard of him because we have Van Gogh table. So raise your hand if you know maybe something about Van Gogh. Pause this. Yeah, so Van Gogh was an artist. He painted a lot of stuff. He wasn't very popular in his time, but after he died, his paintings became worth millions of dollars, and he is now one of the most famous artists in the world. This is one of those most famous pieces. It's called Starry Night, and you can see it hanging above Van Gogh table. And it is also one of those most famous pieces. Raise your hand if you have seen it somewhere outside of my classroom. Yeah, a lot of us. And he kind of created that swirling style that people did not like when he was alive, but they loved it after he had died and became famous. They thought it was fabulous. But sometimes when you do new things, people don't like it at first, but it just takes time for people to realize just how awesome what you do is. He really liked to do paintings of sunflowers. Now here we see some sunflowers, and they kind of look, I don't know, what do you think they look like? I want us to have a little artistic discussion about what we see in these sunflowers. Now describe maybe what colors you see. Do they look young or old? Are there anything else that you notice about these sunflowers? What colors do you see? That kind of stuff. Great. So I see, old flowers, I see a vase, I see oranges, yellows, browns, greens, not just yellow sunflowers. And they definitely don't look like they just got picked. All sorts of interesting things, and they're all sorts of shapes, these sunflowers are. Now here is a photograph of real sunflowers. This isn't a painting. And these look fresh and alive. And sunflowers can grow to be really tall. So they can be taller than both of your parents. But they also start short. So just like you, they gotta grow and take time to grow tall. Now if we were to draw a sunflower, because this is just a single sunflower, what shape, class, do you think we should start out with? I would say a circle too. Start out with a circle for that center area, and this is where all the seeds are at. What shape do you think could be used for the petals? Now there's a couple different answers. Ovals, triangles, or even just a bumpy line. Boop, boop, boop. I'll show you different how those would look on a sunflower. And so we're going to start by drawing our sunflower. And when we color it, are all sunflowers just yellow? No. Some have oranges in them, sometimes have greens in them. The middle isn't just black, sometimes there's polka dots in there where you see the seeds, sometimes it's brown, gray, yellows in there. So there's more than just yellow and black for sunflowers. There's lots of colors in between that you can do. We're going to get started on our sunflower over here. So we're going to start with a circle, and I'll have circles if you need help starting your circle tracers. I'm just going to do mine freehand, so then mine will be a different size than everybody else's. So I've got my circle. And then we said for the leaves, or the petals, we could do ovals, triangles, or bumpy lines. So if I did ovals, it would look like this. And that looks good. I'm just turning my paper. Not all the petals have to be the same distance away. Some can be smaller, some can be bigger. I think it looks nice when they're around the same. I could always take my pencil and erase on the inside. oval. If I wanted to try triangle, I could have my circle, and this is what triangle leaves would look like. And if I wanted to do a bumpy line, I could do it like this. So I'm going to work on my bumpy line one. The next step after you draw it is to trace it with a crayon. Now it doesn't matter which color crayon you use. You can trace it with any color, and then just go over all of those pencil lines. Some of you might want to use the color that you're going to use in your real sunflower project, and some of you might, like me, I like purple, so I think purple would make a good outline color. After that, you fill in the center area with whatever color. I'll be getting my paint ready over here, and I'll be looking for tables that are at this stage. You may also paint in this area, but if you're waiting for paint, I want you to go ahead and start coloring this in. Notice I'm using a browns, or I also have a black over here I'm going to use. Maybe add some dots. You could do all this with paint as well. And then when you do get paint, we're going to be using watercolors today. You can do whatever colors you would like. We're going to be cutting this out next time, so don't worry about getting outside the lines. If someone accidentally, if you smudge your paper, that's okay. Now remember, we said sunflowers don't just have to be yellow. They can be all sorts of different colors. So maybe I'm going to throw in some orange leaves there. Oops, I got to get that wetter. With watercolors, you got to add some more water if you want the color to come out. Ooh, and also throw some orange in there. And I am almost done. I think that looks pretty good. I could always add some more color into the middle, maybe do some polka dot paints in here. And then of course make sure your name is on there. If you finish early, you sure can paint the background. We'll be cutting it out, but there might be some that could look good to have backgrounds. We never know. Alright, so get started. Remember, start with that pencil, and then crayon, and then we'll do the paint. Your turn.